Morning, it's Dr. Kate Walker. Welcome to our Thursday 30, 2021 edition. And it's getting better and better every day, right? I mean, we have to start thinking positive. 2020's gone, so let's Marie Kondo this shit. Let's get into our practices. Let's do a deep dive. Those of you who are grad students, or you're brand new in the profession, or maybe you're a school counselor or you're working in an agency and you're thinking about making the leap, taking the leap, jumping into private practice. That's what January is all about. I'm going to dig into my stuff and I'm going to let you know what's worked for me, what hasn't worked for me, and what I've had to do to make things work for me, right? I always put that in air quotes because it sounds like work, right? It's too much work. Well, it's not, because when it's working, you're able to make a profit. And that's what today is about. So stick with me. As always, I've got to do the commercials first. You guys know that. I'm going to do the commercials. Then I'm going to do my shout outs today because I didn't do them last week. I don't know why, but I didn't do them. So this week I'm going to do double shout outs. So where are my commercials? Found them. All right. So number one, we are starting a badass business meeting. Y'all, I am getting so tired of hearing about things that cost a ton of money that folks have to join in order to get their practice up and running. Texas Counselors Creating Badass Businesses is completely free. And you guys know that. I love this. I love doing these videos. I can put them onto YouTube. You can go pick out the ones you want. I've got my incredible daughter Ridgely going through and editing all of them. But right after Thursday 30, starting January 28th, I'm going to offer a business meeting. It's $25, y'all. $25. We're going to talk for an hour or two. I'm willing to go 2 hours. And you can get a couple of CEs for it. Best of all, when you invite a friend, I'll give you your ticket for free. I'll refund your ticket. So I want people to join and get involved in this meeting, Badass Business Builders meeting. Yes, I've always got to put the word badass in it because you're badass. And you join the meeting. We talk about your business, everything from PLLC versus LLC to the paperwork that you want to use to how to make sure you can have life balance and what's the best way to schedule anyway and how much should I charge. You can ask whatever you want. It's $25. It's going to be after our Thursday 30 on January the 28th. Again, if you want, I can give you a CE. If you're a grad student or an associate and you don't need the CE, that's fine. $25. Invite a friend. You get in free. I'm going to post the link in the thread, so pay attention. Also, don't forget, in this thread, I'll review your website. If you post a link to your website in the thread next week, I will go through your website. If that sounds super scary, don't worry about it. I'm a really nice person. I can make sure that you leave the consultation because it's live. It's going to be on the Thursday 30 because we all need to learn. You're going to know some ways to tweak your website to make it better, and you're going to feel good about it because you're amazing and you're too important to lose to things like a bad website. All right, so post your website in the thread if you'd like me to review it. Are you a supervisor? If you are a supervisor in this group and you are not in my Texas Supervisor Training Facebook group, when this ends, run, do not walk, go to the Facebook group and join it all this month. I'm going to be going over some survey results that aren't too great. Some supervisees, well, a lot of supervisees completed a questionnaire about their thoughts about their supervisors. I'm not going to identify anybody's information. I just need supervisors to know what the supervisees are saying and how we can up our game and how we can make sure that we're doing the best we can in our practice. To that end, on January 25th, if you are in our monthly consultation group, you will get to hear Dr. Jody Elder, who is an LPC board member now, used to be the TCA LMFT board liaison, and Dr. Catherine Bacon, who is the current TCA LPC board liaison, talk to us about great supervision, trends, things that they're seeing on the horizon, problems that they're seeing now. And of course, you can ask questions. So that's for supervisors only, January 25th. Post in the thread if you'd like the link. Otherwise, head over to Texas Supervisor Training where we advertise the crap out of it. Don't forget, I am your person for 40-hour LPC LMFT supervisor training. It's completely online, and if you're already a supervisor, I've already told you what to do, but you have to, if you need those CEs, we have a build your own refresher course. So you can do as few as one CE all the way. I think we have 18 CEs for free, one price, plus all the tools. All right, so that's the commercial. Now, the shout outs. We are, actually, what I should say is, hello, 1,037 of us, 1,037 members of Texas Counselors Creating Badass Businesses since we started this little thing in November of 2019. You guys are amazing. When I check all those insights, I have some amazing active members. You guys help each other. You're giving each other virtual advice. It's awesome. You're amazing. Thank you. So, welcome, TDL Counseling. Christina Lee, Belila Turner, Teresa Pinocchio, Megan Mangold, Melissa Phillip Wilson, Tara Bates, Hope Pemplin, Katrina Morgan, Debbie Giselick Rainwater, Brandy Sellers, Jonathan McLaughlin, Jay Ray, Michael, not Michael White, Alejandra Isabel Spector, LaShasta Bell, and Deanna Jones. Now, let's get to work. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm so glad you guys are here. Ask questions, talk to the members. Every Wednesday, we host a lemonade stand where you're going to see tons of your colleagues who do other things like offer courses. I saw in the thread this week, two people, one does marketing and the other one does web design. And so these are folks who are counselors or in the mental health field who also can help you with your business. So please check those folks out, sign up for their trainings, hire them, throw your money at them because they can help you out, okay? All right, let's get to the topic today. Let me make sure, am I done? Okay, good. All right, so let's talk about things that I had to Marie Kondo. Y'all, practice building is a life work. If you're in this, it's because you have a story. It's something that pulled you into our profession, and you wanted to start a practice in order to meet people where they are, to encourage them, to give them hope, to help them, whatever it is that started you, that is your calling and that's your passion. And so the first thing when we think about, remember our topic today is 3 things I had to ditch. And keep in mind, everything that I produce, I love. There's nothing that I produce that I'm just like, this is gonna suck. No, I put my heart into it. These are things that wake me up at like 5 in the morning. I have to wake up, I have to go create it. I have to make sure, I get it on my website, tell you guys about it. And so every one of the products I put out, it's a piece of me. I'm selling pieces of me, right? So when I put something out there and I'm like, oh, that's $20, it's almost like it's a $20 piece of cake. So it's really a process when you see that that's not selling. So for counselors, let's say you have this amazing idea for a grief support group just for people who have lost pets or just for people who have lost great-grandparents. That's a pretty specific niche, right? And so you thought about this, you made the flyers, you created a page on your website, you went to doctors' offices and told colleagues about it, and you built it hoping they would come. And when you open the doors, you have maybe 5 people and you're like, oh, that's sweet, awesome. And then the next week, only 2 show up and 3 have really good excuses. And so you understand. Then the next week, 1 person showing up and you realize that you've created something that it was an amazing idea. It was a great, great effort, but it's not working out. Now, you have a choice, right? You don't have to give up on it completely. You can definitely ramp up your marketing efforts, right? Never give up on something just the first week, right? You can ramp up your marketing efforts, talk to your colleagues. Hey, how did you promote your group? How did you promote your group? Get some great advice and keep going and keep going. But there comes a time when you do the numbers drill like we did last week. Remember when I took you through my video and I took you through my numbers and I showed you how I decide whether it's on a quarterly basis or a yearly basis, what gets to stay and what has to go. That's when you have to make those hard decisions. And it can't be emotional, right? You can't think, oh gosh, nobody likes that $20 piece of cake or that $30 piece of cake, right? it has to be very, very analytical. You have to think of it in terms of profit and loss. And I can't deny that sometimes taking these things off the market really, really hurt. And I'm, there are things, and I'm going to share with you today that I've put out there that took tons of time and tons of effort. I was looking for an example of that this morning. I made a DVD course. It was a 3 DVD set, and each DVD, I believe, was over an hour in length, and it was, so I had to purchase the DVDs. I had to get a DVD recorder. This was a few years ago. Of course, the time and the effort and the scripts I had to write, and it was hours and hours and hours of effort. And they did sell, and that was nice. But when I did that drill down, when I did that quarterly review or that yearly review, and I looked, and I had to ask myself, hey, is it worth it to do this again? Is it worth the time and the expense? And I'd have to update everything, right? So basically after a year or 18 months, all of that is old data, especially now when data travels so quickly. Was I willing to put in the time and the effort to get this going again? And the answer was no. And so that was one of those things that had to go by the wayside. Another thing, I was in my counseling practice and I would offer groups. And I offered a group, two groups, one for parents of difficult teens and one for infidelity sufferers, right? Whether you were the one who did the thing or you were the one betrayed by the person who did the thing. And I tried these groups and I had my heart in them. And I thought, these are the folks I counsel. Wouldn't it be amazing to get these folks into a group? But again, after a while, when I did the drill down, it wasn't passing muster. It wasn't earning the profit that it needed to stay on the front lines of my practice. So let's talk about the things that don't go away, right? We've talked about this before. I want to make sure that you understand when we're talking about things that have to go and things that have to stay. When you do your vision board at the beginning of the year, those things that are your dream, right? Where you want to live, what you want to drive, where you want to vacation. Those things don't go away, right? We talk about YAG and DYAG, working years above ground and disabled years above ground, putting money aside to make sure that you have your bills paid. And then whenever it is that you decide to retire and you need someone to take care of you, you have that money set aside. That never goes away. Your vision board is your dream. You're too important to lose your dreams. This thing started with a dream, but that's why you do Badass Business Builders. We're trying to keep that vision board alive. So don't touch the vision board. Keep the vision board up, right? You're working toward that. Think of that as the destination. I'm talking to you about the steps that get you there, all right? So we're going to keep the things that stay on the vision board and the things that make sure your working years above ground and your disabled years above ground are good and helpful, right? What I'm talking about, when you get rid of things that aren't working, it's kind of like I did this BuzzFeed thing, and it was so funny. It was like 32 things from childhood that you didn't realize you don't have anymore. And it was things like, oh gosh, where was it? Like lime Skittles. Like I had no idea that lime Skittles went away, or sour Altoids, but I remember loving them, right? And cream savers. I actually liked those, right? So I looked through this whole thing and I was so surprised that they were gone. And sometimes that's what happens in your practice. When you get rid of things, you think, oh my gosh, everybody's going to notice. Everybody's going to ask me where it went. And, my family's going to notice. No, nobody's going to notice. Really, they're not going to notice. They're going to come to you because you're awesome, and you're going to have another way to give them that product, right? And so that's one of the reasons when I talk about this, you guys have to know we're not just going to toss these things into like a virtual incinerator, right? They're not going to burn and go away. What I did, so with the DVD set, for example, my DVD set became a giveaway item, or it was a reduced item. And so when I would go to conferences back in the day when we did things face to face, when I would go to conferences, I could give them away to folks in exchange for, and fill in the blank there. What is your marketing strategy? Do you collect emails? Well, you can have your DVD set or your course or a coupon for your course, because I know everybody's virtual now, in exchange for their email address. Now, counselors, I don't know how you deal with emails. I don't do emails as a counselor, all right? I depend on my HIPAA compliant scheduling software. That is the only email that goes out from me, and it's not a reply email because I don't want to maintain that as a way of communicating. But if you're trying to collect emails, that's great. Maybe that's part of your marketing strategy. Just make sure you have a HIPAA compliant email program, okay? So on your website, when you ask people, hey, we look at this great DVD set, you get this for free when I get your email address. Or I've got this amazing course, you get this for free when you give me your email address. You might have a group or a retreat that you're trying to start, something that's maybe a little less clinical, and you want lots of people to come to your informational meeting, right? Same thing. If you sign up, then you get, and then you can give them the DVD set. Another thing that I did that I loved, it was a piece of my heart, was this t-shirt. And you guys have seen me wear this before. On the front, it says, my hashtag counselors don't quit. And on the back, right, it's got, I'm a counselor. I know the law. I won't go broke. I won't burn out. I won't give up. Counselors don't quit. Now, this is a pretty expensive item to make. Those of you out there who are making t-shirts, you're investing some money. And so I still have that as my motto. It's still my credo. It's still my hashtag. It's still what I tell you guys every day. But am I going to go buy some more t-shirts? Nope, probably not. I mean, that's a real intense prospect. You have to have the sizing right. You have to make sure you can exchange sizes. You have to make sure you have a good relationship with the t-shirt printing company. So if something goes wrong, you can send it back and they're nice to you. They don't charge you money. You know the drill. So what do I use these for? Giveaways, right? And that's okay. It has earned its money back. And usually that's what I do. Once I've broken even on a product that doesn't look like it's doing well, then I put it into the giveaway pile, but it's always in exchange for something. So let's talk about the things I added. So I told you I would tell you about the things I replaced these things with, right? Memberships. I told you last week I've gotten rid, and I'm getting rid of memberships. A lot of my memberships, not all of them. If you're still a member, you're still okay. You still get all the perks of membership. But what I've done with the memberships is I've turned them into these meetings, these free, almost completely free meetings. And I'm trying to help people because what I'm getting the feeling, what I'm hearing, it's hard to commit to a membership. It's really hard. It's like, well, I don't know what I'm going to get out of this. I don't really have the money. So, okay, great. Let's turn that into a meeting where it's low cost. You're able to bring friends. You're able to ask questions together, and you're already in the group. So you kind of know me, kind of know how it works. If you're a counselor, when your group has tanked and you've realized, oh my gosh, this group that I dreamed about, it's not working, turn it into a checklist, right? 10 things you need to know about infidelity, 10 things you need to know about parenting difficult teens, a checklist for rules and consequences for difficult teens, right? These downloads that folks can have, and you can have a whole page of this. Remember, I told you one of the things you can market yourself as in your community is the resource person. So imagine if you had a website full of free resources. I know that sounds crazy, right? But I know you could do it. Everything from blog posts to PDF checklists to little surveys that people could take, and it could give them an answer at the bottom, maybe like an Enneagram or something like that. You have so many great ideas. They don't all have to be for sale, right? I'm going to say that again. You have so many great ideas. They don't all have to be for sale. Remember, our big pumpkin is what you make the most money on. I know that's really terrible grammar. The most money item is your big pumpkin. That doesn't mean you get rid of all the other pumpkins. It means you focus on the big pumpkin. So if you're big pumpkin, if you're a counselor right now and you take insurance, but you started branching out a little bit and you're starting to do some cash pay clients and you're charging, let's say $100 an hour. That's your big pumpkin. That doesn't mean you're getting rid of Magellan and UBH and all the alphabets, right? Because those are still helping you pay the bills. But you're going to start focusing your marketing on that big pumpkin. What do big pumpkin buyers buy? What are they interested in? Put that on your resource page. Go back through your courses. Go back to things that were interesting to people but didn't sell. Put it on your free resource page. There are lots of free resources. They're quiz makers. I wrote a few down. One's called Flubaroo, and the other one is called Class Marker. I used those for years. And they're easy quiz makers, and you can put them on your website. Heck, SurveyMonkey even does quizzes now for a low price. So I have replaced the things that were my heart and still are my heart with other things that will lead to my big pumpkin. My big pumpkin hasn't changed. I'm your trainer for the 40-hour course to become an LPC and an LMFT supervisor in Texas. That's my big pumpkin. If I'm your counselor, which I hope none of my clients are on here, but I'm not going to out you, confidentiality. My big pumpkin is I don't take insurance. And so when I market my practice, when I market my services, I market in a way where I've got to do a client analysis. And we don't have enough time to talk about that today, but an ideal client analysis. I have to know who my ideal client is, and I have to market in a way so that my ideal client can find me. And that goes back to our 10-minute consultation and our 30-second elevator speech, all of those good things that we've talked about. And you can go to my YouTube channel, Kate Walker Training YouTube channel, and see more videos on that. All right, so I have talked sort of to you today about things, pieces of me that I have had to get rid of because they didn't sell. And so it's different than trying to figure out what to charge. This is when you decide to take the thing off the shelf because it's not selling. You go through the emotions, but you don't burn it. You don't throw it away. You find another way in your practice to help it lead to your big pumpkin. So you could do a resource page, you could do free courses, you could do giveaways back when we're back in the world of face-to-face. There are so many ways you can still use those things you loved and turn them into a beacon to get to your big pumpkin. I'm so happy to talk to you guys today. Just remember, all the month of January, you are Marie Kondoing the hell out of your practice. You've got to dig in there, and you have to look at the things that aren't making you money, and you got to be ruthless. You got to pick them out. You got to put them in a basket, and then let's start growing some things that make you money. And that's what this month is all about. I've got to go, but Andy is starting to stretch, so that's my cue. All right, guys, have a great day, and I am on a different screen, so it's going to take me at least a couple of seconds to get over here and in the live video. Don't forget to put your link in here if you want me to review your website. Have a great day.